a government spending of over $18 billion because they could not justify. Came, and if you listen back to the tapes, you would recognize that they talked about building roads, emergency, what road? What road? And if you look at it, it is the same type of projects that they have included in the 2026 budget. We must not be misled. This budget that was passed is not really about developing people. So while they talk about it being putting people first, it is not putting people first. It is about putting infrastructure first. Over 60% of this budget, of this $1 trillion budget, is focused on infrastructure and not focused on developing the people. Our leader, and I encourage you, if you are not watching the press conferences on Fridays from APNU, ask the person if you're watching. Ask them if they watch. Tell them shame on you if you don't watch. Because a lot of information comes out there. If you're not following our page, you have to start following it. You must make it a law in your house that you must follow, because we are not ashamed to give you the information. And our leaders said it most profoundly today in that press conference, highlighting that the most important and valuable asset we have in this country is not infrastructure. It's the people. And that is why when we came to you with our manifesto was titled Putting People First. We understand how to put people first. And so when we were challenging them in the parliament, we were challenging them on that you're just using it as a slogan. But the programs in the manifesto did not demonstrate that you understand the task of putting people first. When you look at it, and I will give you some examples. You have in this budget, you have the Ministry of Home Affairs passing for the police force, you know, over $300 and something million for projects, for training, but could not identify one proper training that the police will be getting. None of them could have been able to do that. They were asked the question, yet still you expect us to spend the people's money when you cannot justify what type of training is coming to the police. As you recognize that we said in our manifesto that what we were going to do, we were going to depoliticize the police force. We continue to say that the police force is too far gone in politics. And where you have that type of corruption, where you have that type of behavior, it does not serve its mandate and its purpose. And that is the first thing we were going to do. Not pump money, more money in a bad system. We were going to correct the system first. If you look at it, you still have many officers don't know how to perform their duties, don't know how to properly investigate crimes. Look at their behavior. In this day and age, there has been very little training and use, and I talk about competent use of forensic. You and I in this country, I am telling you, we are feeling the brunt of it. Because when you have crimes that are popping up now in this country, you cannot be able to properly investigate and come to a conclusion in your investigations. You have one man, I will not call his name, but you and I know, you have one man just last year, not a part of a protest, walking home and was shot by the police with a pellet in his eyes. He had to go overseas to repair that. To this date, the police have not come to the proper investigation because they're still saying they don't know who shoot. You have crimes in this country facing it, and you must recognize that the same police force that they keep pumping your mouth are not serving its purpose. And therefore, we say that the corruption must stop. Now, I want you to understand, if anyone is coming to your business and is asking you to spend money, what does be one of the most important things you ask them? Bring your quotation. Let me see the price. You are faced with a government that is not interested in justifying figures. You don't know where they're getting these figures from. And you and I know, when you hear the prices of some of these little roads that they're doing, that you want to know where they're getting these prices from. Corruption. And that is because, and that is why they will push infrastructure. Because that is where they get to thief the money from, man. They won't spend it on you. I bring you another example. Look at the University of Guyana. They want to pump 13 point something billion in the university. That is our own. Black people, all of us that say, community people are saying, are we on? But they will spend 20 point something billion in foreign universities, gold program. Until now, you heard about a university that came forward and disassociated itself, said, I don't know about Guyana and having been a part of the gold program. Did we get back our money? Was there an investigation as to who misrepresented that to the people of this country? Was there an investigation? Nothing. Swept under the carpet. When going out to this country to programs left, right, and center, to universities that some of you will never know, me and you will never know. We can't travel there. We ain't traveling there. We ain't going there. That's where the money going. I looked at the list of the universities on the goal, and I am telling you, just about 4 or 5 a normal person can be able to call. Some of those names you want to know, what has anybody gone there and have seen those universities? No. Corruption. But we are seeing the University of Guyana, our quality spending of our monies in this country. We're talking about they are not spending enough. They are not putting enough more universities. So at the end of the day, the university can be transformed to service the people of this country. Until now, the University of Guyana is not even doing a proper course in oil and gas. Could you imagine that? Our own. And yet still we have an oil and gas industry in this country. And that is why when you see, we promised you in our manifesto that we were going to increase and spend more on training of our young people. That is what we were going to talk. That's what we were talking about. We were going to equip our people to do the jobs in this country. But they're not interested in that. Go to the foreign universities. Go to the foreign universities that you don't even know, you can't see. Wasted of monies. So that is why we couldn't support them. When you talk about some of the prices, look, They talk about allocating over 4.8, I believe it's about $4.8 billion for Linden, for electricity. But they cannot give a proper in relation to how are you going to spend that money so that the people of Linden will have better stable electricity in this country. They're talking about grid all over the street. Look, listen, this one talking about misinformation. Sometimes when I get worked up and I got to steadily calm myself down. The ship that they bring, how many times we got blackout from the ship they bring? How much money we spend on that ship? Huh? You understand me? There is no justification for the monies that we're spending in this country. And all they do is talking about that. When you talk, we talk about, listen, nothing in this budget takes down cost of living. Nothing. And at the end of the day, you are still going to face with a high cost of living. There is absolutely nothing in the budget and the plan for Linden, increase of jobs and challenging the unemployment percentage in Linden. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And that is not putting people first. So we are justified presenting you and saying we could not support some of the measures in this budget because it was not a proper all-inclusive plan. You talk about, in my last point, you talk about how many young people are not giving opportunities in this place. You know why? And I want you to go back to our manifesto. You will see in our manifesto that we promised you that one of the things we were going to do is ensure that there is a national development plan for our young people, so that we were going to have a proper youth policy for our young people. Nothing in the budget, nothing in the budget, which demonstrates that this government is a caring government and cares about our young people. You want to talk? I'll give you another example. Carrying down of cost of living. What did we say to you? We say to you that we have 10 administrative regions. We were going to ensure that all administration 2 and 3, which are going to be viable when it comes to agriculture, we said every region, so that Linden was in our plan and our manifesto to ensure that agriculture was going to boom in Linden, and so that we could have brought down the prices of food. You see this government? Nothing. No plan. Everything they have maintained the same way that they were doing it. But they'll just keep pumping and pumping of money. I want to say to you, and just moments ago, I sat down there and I reviewed the Procurement Act. This is my last point. I reviewed the Procurement Act. And I want you, it's right on your phone, you can Google it, just press in Procurement Act of Guyana. Start reading from 2003. And I will tell you why people in this country, it's going to be hard under the PPPC to bring them out of poverty. Many of the contracts that will be awarded will never be awarded to the PPP to ordinary people. You know why? There is provisions in the act where you have to come up with security for the project. Security. Now tell me, I want you to you will go and you will bid for a $300 and something million contract. How in the end of the day. And that is what, and that when you don't buy all you have to buy, your equipment, your materials, you ain't leave with nothing, pay your workers, you ain't leave with nothing. And so this whole thing where they're trying to make you seem that big numbers will make you benefit more, it will not happen under the PPPC. You know why? Because they do not put the people first. They put themselves first, their friends, their families, and their favorite first. Because those are the only people who will get the contracts. And you hear, you look at it, you see, and the type of things we got to reason and we got to see through the deception of the PPP. Because at the end of the day, just as my brother said, the main people who will be your suppliers, who are the suppliers? You got anybody in Linden that you can say is an ordinary man who's pushing and can get access to supply any contract? No. No. So it is a circle. This accountable, and we continue to highlight and we continue to mobilize, because it's not only about highlighting, it's about mobilizing. And I want, by the time we leave here tonight, that we must awake in you that passion and understanding that Linden must become a strong army. And you that has the integrity to do that. No matter we are walking around highlighting and putting up on screen who building big house, we did that, done that, and we move on. We have buy things that they're not supposed to buy. So when we bring that to you, there ain't nothing. We call you to action, and the action is when it's time, and the time is now to begin to work greater than ever before to take back this country from this cabal that is running this country down. The time is now. We are waiting till 2031. We are waiting till then. When they call local government election, this is the greatest army. Linden, listen, Linden is about time you allow the ground to shake. Because this country now cannot allow you to stay silent. You are thinking yourself that you don't got no power. I am telling you, you got representatives that got the power. You got the power in your hand and in your voice, and we will join with you and we will bring them down. Thank you.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, Dr. Todd. Come on, put that together. Dr. Todd. Talking the text there. This money gotta mean something for you. And I want you, as Dr. Todd said, on our administration, it would have meant 35% increase in wages and salary for public servants. That is how you put people first. We would have increased the minimum wage to $200,000 a month. That is how you put people first. All right, put your hands together, because we've had a lot of women. We've had a lot of men. We need some women and women and women and women and women. All right, Lola Day. Put your hands together. Let's welcome young activist Cassandra. Cassandra. Give it up for her.
Mackenzie Market Square. Mackenzie Market Square. It's the Green family on the Mackenzie Market Square, and y'all making nice, y'all sleeping. This one like, well, we know that the current government is not a people-centered government because we ran with a people-centered team, right? As a youngster, it hurts because we are not being put first. But the budget says that they are putting people first. So my question to the current government is infrastructure people? Is infrastructure people? Is infrastructure people? No, because the infrastructure focus on friendlies and favorites. Let me give you details about infrastructure in Linden. We have footpaths, but footpaths lead to creeks, right? When you walk half, you gotta swim half for run the other half, right? And that should not be. Today, while coming out, I took a walk in Victory Valley. I had to roll up my pants all the way to my thigh. And the sandals loose up because I had to walk through water. That should not be. They say they're people-centered, right? The budget is putting people first, but yet still you and I are not being put first because only the other day, cost of living went up, right? I spoke to a few people on the market. People on the market that is telling me 3 small green mango is for $1,000. They're putting people. They could never be putting people first. Me as a fruit lover, because when the lady said $200 for the golden apple, me one little golden apple by the time you make 2 bites, it's done. But there's the cost of living, right? They focus so much on the unnecessary, but the necessary things they don't take into consideration, which is us, the people. Because you can have a state-of-the-art country, but without the people, it makes no sense. You could have a state-of-the-art country, but with people, it makes no sense. Right? They say it's putting people first. But the young people who lost their lives, the young people whose family are still calling for justice today, are they not people to be placed first? Are they not people to be placed first? They're young people like myself. I could have been caught in a crossfire going home, right? And they would have said, oh, we put in people first. And then you're hearing nothing more. Recently, I watched the police harass a youngster in a school uniform. Is that putting people first? If you don't have respect for the people and the clothes that they wear, how are you putting them first? Is it the putting people first is putting them into the ground? Is putting people first putting them into the ground? The innocent ones the ones that have no voice. But let me tell you, Mackenzie Market Square, I am a youngster with a voice, and this voice will be heard, right? This voice will be heard. Look at the children on Blueberry Hill who lives around the multilateral school. Now they fence off the ball field. Where will they have recreational activities? They didn't put no system in place. Few places up, right on Blueberry Hill, they fence off the other ball field. How are our children being put first? Young people have nowhere to go and kick ball. They have to utilize the road. And they can't enjoy a good game because every minute they got to stop for car pass. Or the road flood, them can't play. I urge the current government, not even the current government, the Minister of Public Works, who speaks so highly about infrastructure, don't just come and walk on the main road that are asphalt. Come into the valleys. Come where your contractors did the concrete roads. Walk and get your foot wet, or are you too big for that? They're too big for that, right? They're not God. But instead of putting people first, did they put Keon Fudgenet first? Because I know Vanessa still calls for justice. Did they put Ronaldo Peters first? Because I know his mother still calls for justice. We have Shemroy Boye, Alan Lewis. We have Amar the other day. We have those 2 little children who lost lives. Are they being placed first? They say they're putting people first. Have they reached out to the different parents saying at least we give you our sympathy? No. But they say they are putting people first, right, DJ? Because I feel like these people sleeping on these points. I'm a youngster with a difference, right? Now, myself and comrade visited certain areas, and this really hurts me that I have to speak about it. Stroud Park that has no footpath, but the other alleys have footpath. Well, some of them swimming, you won't call them a footpath, you'd call them creek. But why? My question is, why doesn't Stroud Park have a footpath? Is it because our leader and Mr. Corbyn had parents who lived through there? Do not say that you are putting people first if you're holding grudges against the ones with the voice. Do not say you're putting people first if you're holding grudges against the ones with the voice. I know for a fact that they hold that against us. Because we are not only a party that decides to put you, the people, first, but we are a party with a voice. And our 12 that are seated to represent us in the National Assembly, we would say some of them in manners. We would say some of them that just tag their mind. But I say, speak the things. I say, speak the things, because if we don't talk, they'll continue to make a mess of this great country. If we don't speak, they will continue to make a mess of the people that they are neglecting, but they are putting who first? Who them putting first, Mackenzie Market Square? Not me. And then they say, oh, they give grants to children and transportation and all these things they boast and brag about that they stole. We had a system called the 5 Bs. You was never late for school. By the time 8:30, 9 o'clock, the school full. Now, at 10 and minutes to 11, if you're going down the highway, you see children at bus stop. And then the Minister of Education is saying, oh, teachers not in school. But if the children are not in school, to whom the teachers are teaching? If the children are not in school, to whom the teachers are teaching? They brag and they boast about so many things, but it is not factual. It is never factual. There's so many points and times where young people just want to break down because the PPP is pressuring them. They are being pressured. I would say instead of building a bigger police station, build an institution that houses the young people. Build an institution that young people. I know the young people would not turn away from that, but if they don't have anything to turn to, they turn to the streets. A lot of young people do not retaliate because they feel retaliate. APNU administration plan to say more to that. Because we are not preparing for such. We are prepared. We are prepared to take not only our people back, but we are prepared to take our country back. Because you know what? The PPP is crumbling. They are crumbling like cookies because even to their own people are seeing what they are doing. And it is not right. And if I, as a youngster, could say, enough is enough, their own people are saying, enough is enough. We're not going to fight them with violence. We fight them with facts. Facts that make them crumble themselves. They're going to eat away at each other. Right? So me as a youngster, I am saying enough is enough. And I will follow this administration. And I will be the voice of the young people who've been neglected. I will be the voice of the young people who are being neglected. So they could build bigger police station. They're and I want to say thank you, Mackenzie Market Square, for listening to me. I am Cassandra Rodney.
Thank you, Cassandra. Give it up for Cassandra Rodney. Talking the things there. And I love it as a young person bringing the facts, spitting the facts. You know, this movement in great hands. You know, and I love that Cassandra talked about the 5 Bs. But we wanted to do that and even greater, continue free education. When these jagabats and trench crappers come in, they found free education. They didn't bring free education. They returned it to where they found it. And in addition to free education, the APNU wanted to give young people $50,000 a month as a stipend to ensure that they can get a bus or the boat or whatever it is to go to school and they can maintain themselves a little bit. $50,000 as a stipend to every young person attending a tertiary institution. That is how you put people first. And in every way that Cassandra Rodney spoke about there. In addition to that, I see we got big folks here. Y'all know us big people, we got to stick together, right? We wanted to increase old age pension to $100,000 a month. That's how you put people first. That's how you put people first. Let us put our hands together and a businessman that understands the numbers. This guy is multi-talented. I think he's a billionaire. He might want to tell you all that. He got a lot of money. Right? He got so much money. He's put on business and he sing and so on. And all of that. You know, he's a father, a husband. So he wears so many hats. I'm happy to call him a brother and a fellow member of parliament. Put your hands together for MP Psycho Andrew. Give it up. Yeah. Every one of my steps are hard. What we tell him that? If you're not going with me, I'm not going from here. Yeah. Since I need DJ
Listen, I just want to assure you, a lot of you know me as a gospel artist. And I want to put this disclaimer that if God ain't going with me, In politics, I ain't going. I am moving.
If you're not going with me, I'm not moving.
And listen, when it comes to politics and governance, if Linden ain't going with we, APNU ain't going no way.
If you're not going with me,
listen,
I'm not moving from here.
If the youths are not going with this team is not prepared to go anywhere.
Going with me, I'm not moving.
That's what I DJ. It's important that I speak to the youths. We are repping for you because you are the future of this country. Not only the future of this country, but you are the now of this country. So if you are under the sound of my voice, under the age of 40, just know APNU welcomes the youth and we're not prepared to move without
on
you.
the gully side.
What is DJ Nice Man? Look on the riverside, yeah. All right, DJ. All right. Let me throw off my gospel. Let me throw off my artists and let me talk to the people. Hold on, hold on. Listen, when we look on the gully side, there's nothing to smile about. There is nothing to smile about. Hard working single parents are burdened on average $60,000 a year to send their children to school just for transportation. 60 grand. The government comes and gives you $20,000 as a transportation grant. 1/3 single parent mothers, fathers who are working in the interior, in construction, blood, sweat, and tears, don't have enough money for food. Got to spend 60 grand on average to send their kids to school. But this government gives you 20,000. But guess what? They give 20,000 to you single parent. Fathers and mothers and grandmothers, they give you 20,000 to deal with transportation. And they stick a camera in your face, in your kid's face, and they tell you, let's have a photo up so that they can score cheap political points. But at the end of the day, you're still saddled with the burden of finding $40,000 to take your kids to school. The government has done all of that after they would have destroyed what the APNU had put in place, the 5Bs program. No, DJ, that's way, no, let me speak. The 5Bs program, on average, would have taken care of your transportation. That is money, 40,000 you could have kept in your pockets. The 5Bs program could have given kids a hot meal in the mornings. They say breakfast is the most important meal and kids focus better when something is in the stomach. That is what the government took away from you and give you $20,000. And some people have the audacity to stand in front of the camera and say, I want to thank the government for this 20,000. Thank for what? They took what was rightfully yours. On average, 25 grand parents save per month. They took it away and gave you 20 grand per year in transportation. That is not somebody who cares for you. That is somebody who cares about their politics. That is a team that cares about power, not people. So Linden, tonight is an eye-opener for you to understand when we have pensioners line up in the sun. Some of them getting, let me go back, some of them getting blackout, fainting, just to collect the pension on a month. Pressure. While this government uses infrastructure to take money from out of the hands of people. Let me tell you a story. As we went into estimates, it's the first time I'm even looking at a budget estimate. I decided to go through projects. And you started examining projects and what it costs. And I got some information I really want to share with you guys, Linden. There's a road that Forbes Burnham had the insight, the vision to think about. It's a road that led from Mandela, and it would have led all the way to Soesdijk. It is now called Heroes Highway. Because when the PPP came to power, they made that plan. It was there for decades. They made that plan. They didn't conceptualize it. They didn't have time to conceptualize it. It was there. So they came and they decided to put it out. Listen, it's supposed to be 5 phases. The first phase started in 2021. It cost $928 million for 1 kilometer road that ran through the cane field. 1 year later, 2022, the next phase, from 928, it went up to $1.4 billion for 1 kilometer. 2023, Diamond to Busby, same road, same cane field, same conditions. It went up from 1.4 billion to 2.3 billion for 1 kilometer road of road. Listen, phase 4, 2025. Phase 4, 2025, Busby to Land of Canaan. This road went up. Same scenario, same situation, same cane field, same distance between all the trenches. This road cost us $4.6 billion per kilometer of road. Listen, this is facts. And if they want to dispute it, they can just Google the information. Google Drive. Now listen to me. Let us get into the details. At phase 4, there was a company, an Indian company, bid to do the entire phase 4. They bid $41.5 billion. Did they get the contract? No. Guess what? We signed contracts for $52.5 billion to do that same stage 4. Phase 4, we lose 11 billion Guyana dollars. You know what 11 billion Guyana dollars can do? 11 billion dollars. Listen, all the pensioners raise your hand. 11 billion Guyana dollars can give 95,000 old age pensioners 115 plus thousand Guyana dollars off the bat. So back. Take the lash upon your chest. But the government doesn't care for old age pensioners. The government cares about their politics. They are more concerned about political mileage rather than to be concerned good life that they should be offering to the people of this country. So that is what 11 billion, one project, we lost that money. And then they would come to you, Linden, and they would say to you, look, we love you. But Linden, they don't love you. The budget is a document that speaks to the intention of a government. The government tells you what is their intention every year when they present a budget. And the fact that they presented a budget for $1.558 trillion and 50+%, more than half, goes to infrastructure, it tells me that they are more concerned about infrastructure than they are concerned about the people of this country. When the government presents in their budget, $100 million for poverty alleviation measures, but they gave man on mission 900 million. It tells me that they are more concerned about a grouping of people that walks around this country building small pieces of homes, renovating a few, and talking about what men should do rather than lifting the 58% of Guyanese out of poverty and into the middle class. The budget speaks to the intention of the government. And for 5 years, Linden, this government has strangled your progress. The Bear Rock Stadium, conceptualized by the APNU, government came to power 5 years after, then they deliver it to you. It was close to election, so they had to get it out of the way because it was becoming a problem. They couldn't even get it out on time. 5 years later, then they give you at the end basically of an election cycle, because you know what? They're not concerned about the athletes of Linden. They're not concerned about the physical education of youths in Linden. They are more concerned about their politics and power, and that is why a whole election cycle has to elapse before they deliver something solid to you. Listen to me, outside of the fact that they didn't do good, let us look at the Wisma Bridge. They came to power, it was already conceptualized. The Demerara Harbor Bridge has been completed. A whole lot of roads have been completed. But that bridge, they say, is 95% now completed after 5 years in power. In Linden, it is only 95% complete. You know why? Because Linden, let me tell you the truth. Because if God ain't going with me, I ain't going nowhere. So I got to tell you the truth. You know why? Because I think y'all is muck. They think y'all is a bunch of pacoos. They think that the youths are more fascinated about social media and social media influencers and hype geniuses than they are about what is more important about their lives. And that is why the government takes you for granted consistently. Years after year after year, they continue to take you for granted. That is why the Linden enterprise at 100 million sitting on a bank account. My little Indian friend here, doing a small business, could have gone get 500,000 loan, low interest. My sister, who doing hairdressing, could have gone to that institution, got a 300,000, buy a little hair dryer, but could not, because for years the government did not operationalize that program. I talk about this during the election cycle. You know what they did? When the finance minister was asked the question, why not operationalize that program that could take so many small business owners out of poverty and help them to grow? You know what he says? A lot of people don't pay back the loan. You know what critic pay back his loan? Tell me no, man. So he get for and Linden can't. America, Japan, Guyana, why Linden can't? No, I'm not saying get yourself in debt, but I'm signaling to you the intention of a government that their friends could own 900 billion. They can borrow trillions and lose it and misuse it. But when it comes to you, the little petty $100 million, they're saying we can't allow you to borrow it. You know why? Because again, take you for muck. They take you for paku. And you understand? And the last election, Linden, young people decided that they're going to go left. But I'm here to bring them back right. Because I'm here to tell you that there's a group of people that comes under the APNU banner that is influenced by conscience and God, that is concerned about people, that is concerned about progress, that is concerned about value for money, that is concerned about lifting 58% of our people from the bottom and putting them in the middle. And that is why we create solid programs. That is why our Manifesto had amazing programs to help small business owners. Listen, now there's a small business development bank that is about to give $3 million to small business. We know part of the bank there, but the money is already allocated. But here's the funny thing about that. The minister could not say to us, after you lend a small business person $3 million, like how some people lend me $3 million for start me business, and when the $3 million done, you're looking for the next brace because small businesses take time to do. Where is the plan? After you lend me 3 and I blow through it and the business still ain't grow, what's the plan? The plan is to send you to a banking institution that can offer you 7. So what if you don't qualify? There's no concrete plan, no progression as to how I'm going to take these small business owners from micro status and literally take them and lift 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 them until they become mid-sized business. You know why? Because the government do not care about you. They do not care about Linden. And it's sad that I have to say this. They have some friends that will come to you, Linden, and tell you that they now suddenly care about you. Where were they when you were not treated the right way? Did they utter a voice for you? Who find Jesus that they suddenly become a saint? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring this one in by letting you know, again, that the budget to split this vote and shore up the government, we are giving them warning that this ain't going down how it went down. No, 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 no. Each man on the ground, everyone win one, bring one, vote for one. That's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, give it up, give it up, give it up. Our brother Psycho Andrews, Member of Parliament, talking the things. He said we had the programs and have the programs that can lift our Guyanese brothers and sisters to higher heights. We propose in our manifesto the development bank, a state-owned development bank. We also propose an investment bank. And Psycho started with our young people. I wrote my notes down, don't come for me. We also propose for our young people a youth investment fund that our young people can tap into and access grants and low interest loans. That is how you put people first. Linden. And with that, I want to welcome a lady that understands these issues. She's a firebrand. She knows how to later on check on them, the Jacobas and the trench crappos. Put your hands together and let's welcome Member of Parliament, Charita Finance. Give it up.
Good night, Linden. It's good to see so many of you out here tonight. I'm no stranger to Linden. I've been walking these streets with my colleagues for a number of years, listening to your issues, rapping on doors, making sure that you are heard so that we can go to the level of the National Assembly and advance your cause, because that's why we're there. We're there because you voted for us to be there, to speak up on your behalf. And I am telling you tonight that your team, the APNU team, will forever represent the people of Linden and the people of Region 10. We will not let you down. Linden, I want to be very direct, and I like to deal with my facts, as you would know. One of the things I want you to first hear is that when we speak of Linden, sometimes we use Linden and Region 10 interchangeably. And we do acknowledge that Region 10 is wider. You know, the preliminary census, it said that Linden is 33,183 people living in Linden. And for Region 10, it was 45,499. So that is what the numbers are. So when we speak about Linden, we are speaking about 73% of region number 10. That is what you represent. Linden represents 73% of the population of region 10, and that's important for you to note. Now, when we're looking at the budget, you know, everybody's talking about this largest budget. You're hearing these trillions, $1.558 trillion. You would see the PVP going around if you go to your social media pages, go to their ministry pages, and they're doing the most minute things for communities. Somebody buy a truck here to pick up garbage, big celebration with a budget of $1.558 trillion. They want to spend the money on the people of this country. It is their job to spend the money on you, the people of Linden. And you are not to behave as though you must be grateful for something that you When you hear about people that care, government that care for its citizen, one of the things that a government do that care is make sure that the most vulnerable people are taken care of. You agree? Pensioners are taken care of. What did we have for pensioners in the 2026 budget? $5,000 increase. They moved from 41,000 Guyana dollars to $46,000. That is budget 2026, Lindeners. Pensioners, that is what the PPP had to offer at the national level. We have more vulnerable people in society. Some of us had it a little more better than our neighbors sometimes. Some people need public assistance. What did this $1 trillion budget offer to persons receiving public assistance? An increase of how much? An increase of 3,000 Guyana dollars. You moved it from $22,000 a month. That's what the PPP moved it from. 2025 budget, $22,000 a month for the public assistance. 2026, they spent millions of dollars parading the streets talking about the biggest budget ever. And then they came to the National Assembly and they announced that public assistance will be going from $22,000 to $25,000. That is the PPP administration for you. So when they come to your homes, when they come to your communities, when they walk the streets of Linden, when they go in the boat and they go up the river, Fordham Region 10, you tell them that they are disrespectful to Guyanese and you will not support them. We've got to be real. You know, sometimes it's easy to talk when you're using their information. It's easy to speak when you're using their data. You know, a lot of times they start the assembly and they give you a whole lot of books. Well, guess what? All, every page, every line. Because we know them. There are some things that we learned in budget 2026 at Lindeners that you should know. You know, my time is not gonna be forever. So I want to talk to you about a few things. And I want to go back to what the young lady, excellent representation coming from Linden, Miss Cassandra. Excellent representation. I'm so proud of you and I know you got far to go, I can see it. You know, she was talking about going out there and buying fruits and so, and the price is going up. The government came to the National Assembly. You know what they told us? They say inflation rate going down. But guess what? And I challenge you to always go out there, fact check them. And when you're unable, we can do it for you. If you are to go, and I have the note here, if you were to go to the Bureau of Statistics website, you know what they would say? The price of food from January 2025 to January 2026, food price alone went up by 6.7%. So Cassandra and Lion, this is their data. This is the data that explains what Cassandra's saying, that when she goes to buy fruits and vegetables, the price is going up. That affects ordinary Guyanese. You know who it don't affect? It don't affect the PPP ministers. It don't affect the big boys driving around in the Prado, you know, those with the flashing light were just beeping, honking for you to get out of the way. It don't affect them. Because when Psycho talked about the amount of money they're increasing for the cost of infrastructure, they're pocketing the money, so these price inflation don't affect them. It affects you, the people of Linden.
In for sweetness to put inside a basket. I am the holy blinking market.
The DJ is on point. I have to the songs. You know, we have some very, very matters to talk about. And governance is, you look at groups of people, political parties going to an election, and you have to decide which of these groups can actually represent you best, who is most capable, who has delivered more to the people of Guyana, who has delivered more to the people of Region 10, who has delivered more to the people of Linden. And I want to say to you, when it comes to education, Linden, Region 10, the APNU has delivered more than the PPP can ever dream to deliver to the people of Region 10. I want to challenge you. You know, we're talking, this is street parliaments. We got to bring the data. When you look at the volume 2 of their budget, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see Region 10 in 2025. Matriculation rate, and you know what the matriculation rate is? Is the amount of students that pass both maths and English that can go on to further education, to further studies at university level, college, and so forth. They pass both maths and English. Region number 10, when it comes to the matriculation rate, in 2025, Region 10 only had a matriculation rate of 21%. 21%. The PP government has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in education, billions of dollars telling you they're billing this and they're billing that. And they have delivered less when it comes to education. I want to give you some facts. Very important facts. I just told you matriculation is both maths and English, right? This is from the Ministry of Education website. Important for you to know it, because I tell you, when you go out there and you vote for people, you have to vote for people that can deliver to you. This is not a talk shop. This is not about who can go out there and get more likes and shares and all of that. This is about who can represent and deliver people so that yourself and your children could have a better life and your future could be better. When it comes to 2020, had 5 years under the APNU of training and teaching. In 2020, the %. Did you hear that? 2020, 49%. 2021, 24%. 2022, 28%. 2023, 29%. And 2024, this is the last one they have up, 24%.
Education
Hundreds of millions of dollars being spent. You would go online, you would hear the Minister of Education, the previous and the current, parading themselves, talking about the schools that they're building, the infrastructure that they're planning. And when it comes to the quality of education that has been delivered to the people of Region 10, it is the APNU that is on matchless delivery of education. That is how you vote. You vote based on who can deliver to you, the people. You know, if you go to the volume 2, you continue to go down in those books. They don't like me, you know, because I like to get the data. If you go to the volume 2, region 10, I'm telling you all, go to it, region 10, that's the last agency in volume 2. Just turn to the back of the book. If you go to health, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see that in region number 10, the percentage of pregnant women with anemia is 22%. 22% of pregnant women in region number 10 has anemia. What the budget book is telling us. You know why? Because there is no amount of money that you can throw at a bunch of incompetent people like the PPP that they can take and actually translate that into meaningful programs so that it will benefit you, the people of Region 10, in a positive manner. Now I have some other speakers coming, but I want to touch on one last important thing. You know, when they went to the budget presentation, you're going to hear Ashley Singh stand up in the National Assembly and he can talk about employment and they slashed the unemployment rate in half. That is what they said. That are temporarily employed is over 14%. And persons that are unknown is over 30%. So you know what the PP is telling you there? The PVP is telling you there that in order to fluff up this number, to make you, the people, believe that they got this unemployment thing under control, they have recorded persons, over 30% of the people they recorded as being employed. They're also stating that they don't know whether or not they're permanently employed or they're temporarily employed. I am saying they joke the book. The data is inaccurate and we have got to call them out, because when you go home, you know the members in your families that are unemployed. When you go home, you know your neighbors that are unemployed. And I can tell you this, we are not a lazy out and we work hard because that is what we have been taught from our ancestors. The PPP is disrespectful to our people, and I can say this. Linden, I will go back and close by what I said. Linden, based on the census, the preliminary census, 33,183 persons living in Linden. You have a choice. And based on the data that we're presenting to you, based on the fact that the APNU has delivered more to you, you have a choice to go out there, continue to join hands with us, and continue to work with us as we continue to excel and to make sure that your voices are amplified. And I make this commitment to you that we will not give up. And there is not a single other political party that can step to us when it comes to the level of representation the APNU has given to the people of this country. There is no individual that can come to you and say that when you were at your lowest, they showed up. We have done it. This great party, the PNC, I can tell you, and I've said it so many years, has a history of representation for people of this country. And when persons come to you, I urge you, the people of Linden, to use the data and tell them we have these facts and you can step back, because we are going forward with the APNU. We are going forward with the PNCR. Linden, I thank you for listening to me tonight.
Thank you. Give it up for Rita. Give it up for Rita. I did tell you all the firebrand we got. I did tell you all the firebrand we got in Rita Finance. Listen to me. Listen to me, Linden. Who lead matters. You know, some people can't come here and spit facts like that, you know. They can't spit facts like this, you know. Then come and tell you who fighting them down and who doing them this and that. Come on, Linden. We bright bad. You know, let me tell you something. I was a little shocked hearing Charita call the numbers in education. You know what's the problem? The PVP want to be dance like them. They want everybody be dance like them. But not our children, not our people. I was shocked today. Let me show you dance. You know when we say, I'd get dance with you, it's a different story. But it's not the kind of dance. Let me show you dance. I coming up to my hometown this afternoon. Coming up to my hometown. And I saw a swimming pool on the highway. Folks, not too far from here, I saw a swimming pool. In 50 plus years, Linden, Forbes, Sampson, Barnum build a highway. I never see water accumulating on it. You think I lie? Look at the photograph. It's the first time in my life I see water accumulating on a hill. This is dance. This is dance. In 50 years, that highway stood up and stood strong. Y'all notice when they dig up the highway, they have to dig far down because it built solid. That's how we build things. And couple days, y'all build. I see water accumulating. This is dance. This is dance. This is what we give friends, family, and favorites. Fully dance. Friends, family, and favorites. What they can tell us. All right. I want to open up a little bit for y'all. If y'all got a quick comment you want to make, you want to ask a quick question, please. We also have our political leader of the PNCR, leader of APNU, here with us tonight too. Just open it for a couple minutes. You want to give a quick comment? I hold in the mic. A quick comment. You want to ask a quick question. More in particular. We want to come and talk. This interaction. I want to hear from you. Come quick. Come with you. Come on, brother.
Good evening, everyone. Gillis Benjamin Hall, past council of the RDC 10. My question is, or before my question, we are seeing so many accidents throughout our country. And I'm asking the question, what plan has been put in place to prevent those critical accidents that we are losing our people, especially on the Linden Highway? And is there any thought put in place to remove that 2-lane and expand it to a 4-lane, considering the number of vehicles traveling through Linden? I would have recognized an article on Facebook where the president lost an uncle, and immediately information was shared to look at the drainage and irrigation system to prevent such accident? Again, my question is, what is the plan put in place or law put in place to prevent those accidents happening?
But you know these issues top to bottom. Rock and come in, and then I take my brother. All right, put your hands together for my sister. Being so bold. We can take a couple more, so get yourself together.
Evening. We have consistently said that the government doesn't have a plan for transportation, for roads. There are a number of things. Even the new roads they build on the East Bank. You are living in an era where you want traffic to flow, in which when you come out, everybody coming across has to stop. Most of you who travel will know that in the modern world, they will go up and under so that transportation flows in all directions and improve the flow of traffic. That's the first thing I think we need to underscore, that they continue to build roads as if we are still in 1968. The second thing is they do no study of traffic flow. And so even in cases where they put traffic lights, they are not efficient and effective. I mean, if you from, I'm using Georgetown here, if you come from Lamaha Street to Vicinian Road, three of the lights will change, take a long time to change. And then the one coming from Dennis Street, it has little or no time on it. So there is a problem there right away. The real issue is that there is no proper planning. Transportation is not agile waking up and decide a road must go through here. Transportation, you have to get competent engineers who will develop a plan, understand the area. The other nonsense they are doing is they are roads as if we got them little 2-ton trucks where we had. So by the time they finish with the road, it's broken. So they also have got to pay attention to the quality of roads. Now, they wouldn't want to do that because when the road broke up, it's more money for them. But if you are looking at the country in the long term, then you need an approach which allows us to get quality roads. When the Soesdijk Linden Highway was opened in 1968, it had a 20 years guarantee lifespan. Now we build them with no guarantee, no lifespan. When the truck that go in, the road go in same time. So the real issue is for us to train transport engineers or engineers who specialize in transport and to do a number of things to fix the system rather than building roads. Even the roundabout, you could see they're now just putting roundabout for roundabout's sake. A roundabout, there is one at Ogle. There is one at Ogle that ends up making the traffic slow because you have a set coming around here, another set here, and another set from that side. You don't have 3 lanes. You have 2 lanes, so they are forced to merge and the traffic is slowed down. So it's clearly a case of lack of planning, and I believe also doing it in a way to ensure that
up. We have another quick question, and we want to bring our final speaker. 2 questions. Come, my brother, so the camera can see you. Give it up for my brother as he comes. Let's keep the energy, keep it moving. Right here, my brother, right here.
Good evening. I have 2 points to make. First of all, I want to thank our Lindeners to come out here, and I want to thank the visitors. But We talking about all this money that the country got. We got the money, yes. But one thing we are not addressing at all, and I've been to several meetings, why are we not talking about the oil and gas sector? Why? Is it because we don't know? Well, let me explain something to you. For someone who has been 32 years, 32 years as a maritime officer, I have approached everyone, even my people. Nobody listens. But I'll tell you something. As a maritime officer, I understand more. Even we got 60 plus people in the parliament. If we have an emergency now, this very minute, to go offshore, none of you can go. You're not trained, you're not certified. It's hard, but I have to tell you. But I'm saying to you, I have been reaching out. Can't get the jobs because nobody is looking out for us. I have visited a very small country called Trinidad, and everybody's representing Trinidad. And right now, Trinidadians are coming here and getting jobs. Guyanese are getting it, but Trinidadians are saying we can't go in Trinidad and work. You know why? Because the people who represent us are doing nothing. You're getting paid, but you are doing nothing. I don't care who vexed, because right now I ain't getting no place. But let me tell you something. As an officer on vessels for 32 years, whether you're listening or not, I don't even know. They meet me on a daily basis, and I try to guide them to get a job offshore because of my little knowledge. But when the real people,
I also want to point out something to you that slipped me. Isn't it interesting that if you leave Georgetown and you come in on the new highways, they are 4-lane. But when you meet the Linden Highway, they are repairing it as a double lane. Now, what that means is that you will have a 4-lane running into a double lane, which will be a bottleneck. The sensible thing to do was really a highway parallel to the existing highway. When you complete that, you move and rehabilitate it so that you will have the same mistake, I think, is being made with the Moburo Road. It is being built as a 2-way, when in fact it should be 4-way, catering for the traffic. So again, it's a manifestation of a lack of a plan.
All right. Give it up for Mr. Norton, folks. Leader of the afternoon, leader of PNCR, making the arguments that they can't spend your money properly. That's not putting people first. That being said, folks, I want to welcome our final speaker. Yes, our final speaker. Well, he needs no introduction. He needs no introduction. He's been warring for Linden as a long time. Warring in the streets for